One of the worst parts of the flying experience is waiting around in the airport. Uncomfortable seating, long lines, and expensive food that barely passes as edible. But what if I told you there's a place in the airport you could take a shower after that 12-hour flight? A place where the food isn't just edible, it's delicious. A place with a comfy chair, stiff drink, and a charging port actually works. I'm talking about a little place called the Airport Lounge. If you've traveled much, you've probably seen airport lounges, but maybe you've assumed you can't get in because you need special status or something. Truth is, it's really not hard to get in if you know what you're doing. And in this video, I want to give you an A to Z guide on how anyone can get into an airport lounge, in many cases for free. Now, there's a bunch of different types of lounges and a bunch of different ways to get in them, but none of that is going to matter if you don't have one thing: a boarding pass. And in most cases, it needs to be a same-day boarding pass. Some lounges are even more strict than that. Different lounges have different policies, and we'll discuss those as we go. The majority of lounges out there are going to fall into these categories: airline-specific lounges, credit card lounges, independent lounges, and USO lounges. I'm not going to say too much more about USO lounges in this video because if you qualify, you likely already know about them. Basically, these lounges are exclusive to US military and their families. Thank you for your service. And it's a great way to make the stress of travel for servicemen and women a little less stressful. So let's dive into airline lounges. If you travel much in the USA, you've probably seen lounges like the Delta Sky Lounge, the American Airlines Admirals Club, or the United Club, and there's a few different ways to get into airline-specific lounges like these. You of course need a boarding pass to enter these, but the stipulation with airline lounges is often that it's a same-day ticket for the specific airline or that airline's alliance. In other words, you can't enter a Delta lounge if you're flying a United itinerary. So here's a couple ways to get access to these lounges. One specific way is to fly in first or business class with that airline, or sometimes even with a partner airline in the same alliance. For example, if you're flying United Airlines business class or United Polaris business class, you'll automatically get access to United Club lounges at departure, connection, or arrival airports. And it doesn't stop with just United flights. If you're on a business class ticket with any Star Alliance partner airline like Lufthansa or ANA, you could also access United Club lounges. Plus, you can even bring a guest with you in some cases. You can also get in if you have status with that particular airline or its alliance. For example, United Premier Gold members get access to United Club lounges and any Star Alliance Club lounges while flying a Star Alliance itinerary, and so do any Star Alliance Gold members. The same is true for Delta and SkyTeam, as well as American and Oneworld. Now, you can also pay cash to enter these lounges. You still need your same-day ticket on that airline, but oftentimes you can buy a one-day pass to these types of lounges for a fee of $50 or $60. And you could even buy an annual membership for $500 to $600 or an insane amount of points. Some airlines also have ultra-premium lounges reserved for the creme de la creme type experience. Much nicer, full shower suites, and likely a sit-down meal service option. And the rules are similar, just a little more exclusive. To continue the United example, United has their Polaris lounges, which are very, very nice. I love them. But to enter, you need to be a long-haul international traveler in United Polaris business class or flying first or business on a Star Alliance airline. Now, all of that is great, but one of the most reliable and honestly one of the easiest ways to get consistent lounge access with airlines is by holding that airline's specific credit card. Most major airlines offer co-branded credit cards that come with a ton of perks, and lounge access is one of the top benefits. For example, if you have a card like the Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, when you're flying Delta, this card will get you access to Delta Sky Clubs. And many airlines have their own version of this. Now, basically always, the cards that come with lounge access are also the ones with the crazy annual fee. We're talking between $450 and $700 per year. So does that really count as free access? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the other perks and, in my opinion, if you actually use them and know how to use them. There are cheaper cards out there that come with restricted lounge access, let's say. An example, the United Explorer card is a great card that I keep in my wallet. The annual fee is only $99 per year, and it comes with 2 United lounge passes per year. Are they worth it? I'd say if you fly regularly with a specific airline, these fees can actually be a great value if you utilize all the other perks that come with the card. But if you're someone who hops between airlines or you're more of an occasional traveler, it might make sense for other lounge access options like a more flexible premium credit card, which I'll talk about next, or even just buying day passes when you don't need them. You don't want to be stuck paying hundreds of dollars a year if you're not flying often enough to take full advantage of the perks. Now, there's also premium airport lounges not tied to specific airlines, but rather specific credit cards issued by banks. These lounges typically offer more upscale amenities, gourmet food, a full bar, and even spa services in certain locations. I'm talking about Amex's Centurion Lounge, the Capital One Lounge, and Chase's Sapphire Lounge. You get access to these lounges by holding their highest tier premium travel credit card from each of their brands, and typically this is only the highest tier card. For the Centurion Lounge, that's the Amex Platinum and the Business Platinum card. For Capital One, that's the Venture X and the Venture X Business, and for Chase, that's the Sapphire Reserve. These lounges are only available at select airports and, in my experience, are getting very crowded. This was the line to get into the Centurion Lounge in Dallas just a couple months ago. I will say, my recent trip to the Capital One Lounge had zero wait, and overall, I was impressed with what I got. The only bummer was I couldn't get in until 3 hours before my departing flight. Once I was within that time window, though, I got in no problem. It wasn't an overtly luxurious experience, but it was big, clean, it had a nice view out the window, the food was great, and when you consider the fact that the Venture X card's $395 annual fee is offset by a $300 travel credit every year, basically, if you use any of the other perks of this card, you're getting access to these lounges when you fly for free. You gotta work much harder to maximize the value of the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve's annual fees of $695 and $550 respectively. By the way, I think both of these are great cards and they do come with a huge amount of perks, but if you were considering a premium travel credit card and lounge access was the only perk you really cared about, I think the Capital One Venture X is a really great consideration. Now, the thing is, each of these cards also come with a way to access the last type of lounge on our list, if you know what you're doing. These are none other than Priority Pass lounges. Priority Pass is a network of over 1,600 airport lounges and other footprints like restaurants and even suites that can be found all over the world. Some of these are airline lounges, and some are independent lounges. There's about 150 lounges in North America, so quite a few, but not as abundant as in Europe or Asia. What makes Priority Pass great is you can access these lounges no matter what airline or class of service you're flying, and they should each come with comfy seating, complimentary snacks and drinks, Wi-Fi, and charging stations. The experience can vary a bit in my experience. Some are very basic, like the Club in Dallas, and some are really nice, like the IGA Lounge in Istanbul. There's also really unique ones like this one in Punta Cana that has a pool. Priority Pass also includes partnerships with restaurants and minute suites for napping and select spas like Be Relax, where you can get massages or foot treatments, all making your airport wait a little bit more enjoyable. There's two basic ways to get Priority Pass access. You can buy a membership, and Priority Pass has different tiers of membership based on the number of visits you want to make per year, or you can get it through a credit card like the ones I mentioned earlier, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, Capital One Venture X, Amex Platinum, and there's a handful more, which I'll link below. An important note on this, because many of you may already have one of those cards, you do still have to enroll in Priority Pass, even if your credit card includes it. Personally, I love having Priority Pass because no matter where I am in the world, there's a pretty good chance I can get into an airport lounge. If you want to know other credit cards that can get you access to airport lounges, I'm going to link some of those below. And if you're thinking about lounges because you've got a long haul flight coming up, you definitely want to watch this video where I break down how to turn that dreaded 12-hour flight into a comfortable experience you actually enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. Happy travels.